Despite being phased out of American railroads by the early to mid-1960s, steam still had a place in the American railroading landscape, that being for steam-powered excursions for publicity purposes. The Union Pacific is the only Class I railroad that never retired all of its steam locomotives, as they kept 484 Northern number 844 for excursion service, never officially retiring her, just reassigning her for excursion service. In the 1990s, despite being 50 years old, the Alco Graduate still had a lot of strength left in her, as shown on November 4th, 1996, when she saved the bacon of a freight train on Archer Hill in Wyoming. It was a regular Monday afternoon for a Union Pacific crew taking a freight train westbound manifest towards Cheyenne, Wyoming. With two Union Pacific C40-8s, number 9111 and number 9122, and an SD40-2, number 3222, the freight train had stalled on Archer Hill, 24 miles east of Cheyenne, because of number 3222 slipping and losing traction on the hill. With the train stuck, they asked for a banker engine to couple up to the rear of the freight train to get it going again. As it just so happened, Union Pacific number 844 was returning from a series of excursions in Missouri and Arkansas and was hot on the tail of the manifest. After Steve Lee, the manager of the Union Pacific Steam program at the time, received word about what was ahead of 844, he phoned in the Omaha dispatcher. He asked if his crew with 844 could push the train up Archer Hill to get to Cheyenne. The dispatcher let them proceed through the red signal and they arrived at the rear of the stalled freight train. Once 844 had arrived, the freight crew were still determining if 844 could help get the train going again. Steve Lee responded with the now legendary line, "What do you think they did before diesel?" After accepting help from the 844 crew, the freight train was preparing for 844's shove up the hill. The end-of-train device, also known as an EOT or FRED, was moved to the back of 844's train of flat cars and an air test was performed. Once the air test was satisfactory, the code of 844's rear-end device was given to the freight engineer so he could monitor the rear-end brake pressure and control the train's entire braking. Once all systems were a-go, the two whistles of 844 were given and the train set off. Slipping at first, the 844 and the diesel locomotives got the much-needed traction and started shoving the train up Archer Hill. In an incredible moment of steam engineering, this moment of 844 pushing the freight train was captured by Dandy Dancer Productions. .844 continued to push the train, going about 15 to 20 miles per hour, and was moving well when it was discovered the freight crew was about to go dead and a dog catch crew was on their way. The current crew of train number 9111 was about to end their shift. The freight train thus had to stop on Archer Hill and a crew swap occurred. After the swap, the train got back underway on the 0.67% grade westbound, very slowly, but regained the speed and continued up the hill. 844 made the final push and finally the crest of Archer Hill was reached. After the train stopped at the top, 844 was uncoupled from the train, the EOT device was put back on the freight train, and the 844 was cut off. The manifest freight train continued downhill under its power while the UP 844 and its train followed back to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Today, the living legend still roams the rails of the Union Pacific for excursions. Still, that November day in 1996 proved that she wasn't just a tool for public relations, but a very adequate option for any emergency for the Union Pacific. Just like 4014.
Oh, you thought we were done? No. We have another UP steam engine to cover. Not the Challenger, that's a story for another video, but the big boy.